Hey you, welcome back. Today's in session is all about emotions, emotions, emotions. Today we're going to talk about define what an emotion is. We're going to recognize why it's so important to be able to identify and clearly and concisely be able to use words that help us express how we're feeling to be more present and why it's so important and how it builds up our self-confidence in the end. If it's your first time here, hi, my name's Vanessa. I'm a life coach. What does a life coach do? A life coach helps you maximize your full potential and always reach what your intended outcome is. We do that by being supportive and directing you and helping you to grow and analyze every current situation that you're in, and also identify those limiting beliefs that are preventing you from breaking through those potential obstacles that you face. And we create a wonderful action plan that's always going to help you get to what you want. So let's get in session. Emotions, emotions, emotions. What are they? According to Webster's dictionary, I know that's old school, right? Emotions are intense feelings. What each and every one of us are familiar with are mad, glad, sad, angry, happy. Those are basics. Did you know that there are 200 different words to be able to express your emotions? Emotions, that's right. Why is it important to be able to express yourself clearly and concisely by being able to identify your own emotions? It's such a good question. When you look at an emotions chart, you can say that you're angry about a situation. These are the basic words that we all know. But now you see there's a second ring and there's a third ring. We'll use this beautiful example, right? It's Friday. You're going home for the weekend and you're like, I'm so sad about being home for the weekend. Now, that's a challenge or a situation that you're experiencing. The thing is, when you say that you're sad about being home for the weekend, what does that really mean? I mean, why are you sad? What is it specifically about the situation that has you feeling in a certain kind of way that you're sad about it? When you start reading an emotions chart, which by the way, Google it, print it out and read it every day. It's what I tell my clients. Spend 10, 15 minutes reading the emotions chart. And if you don't know what a word means, dictionary, look it up because it helps build your confidence in such a great way. So for example, back to our example of being lonely, of being home for a weekend, which so many of us feel sad. I'm so sorry. You feel sad about being home for the weekend. It's much different than saying something like under our, sad, lonely. Lonely is one of the words under sad. When you say lonely, lonely is something we can work with. Lonely is like, okay, I'm home for the weekend. I'm home. I'm lonely. Why am I lonely? Right? That's the challenge that you're looking at. You're home for the weekend and you're lonely. Why? Live alone? Your partner's away for the weekend? Is it you moved to a new place and you haven't gotten out there and gotten to know your neighborhood? Makes sense. Shy, a little nervous, totally under control. So if you're lonely about being home on the weekend, what is one little thing you can do about? You can go, now with this beautiful weather, take a towel or a blanket, go out to a park, grab a book and read. Even though you're lonely, you're outside and when you're around other people, and it's always easy to reach out and say hi. If you're lonely, you can go to a cafe, have a cup of coffee, strike up a conversation. Is there a sport that you really like to do that you can participate with other people? And when you're with other people, that stops you being lonely. Is it going out for a walk and joining a group that walks every Saturday or walks every Sunday 10 or 12 or 15 kilometers. You're with a group, you get exercise, you get to meet new people, and it's something you like to do. Do you like cycling? Instead of being lonely, which is okay to be, if it's something that you don't want to be anymore, then you're just able to identify, okay, I'm lonely. That makes sense. What do I want? I don't want to be lonely anymore. So then you think about what are the things you'd like to do and put yourself out there, which I know can be scary, but register, sign up, and go out there. And then guess what? You won't be lonely anymore. The other beautiful reason to be able to clearly and concisely express how you're feeling is to be able to communicate in your relationships. I know it seems daunting, or it seems like, what are you talking about? But hear me out. In your relationships, whenever something happens between you and the other person, it's important to remember this. Me, 53-year-old woman, my familial narrative, my environmental narrative, and my cultural narrative is going to be distinctly different than your familial narrative, your environmental narrative, and your cultural narrative. And by that, I mean this. My familial narrative, Spanish household, girl, we don't need to go any further than that. We know. It's pretty strict, right? So the way that my mom and my dad spoke to each other and the way that my brother and my cousins spoke to each other, that's our familial narrative. We're really familiar with that. So in my house, it could be like we talk really loud, Spanish culture. We talk really loud and we're super expressive and it's like zing and it's really fast. If you're somebody who's coming from Omaha, that's quiet household, and you express yourself in a more quiet way, that type of communication might seem aggressive to you, right? And aggressive, when you look under the emotions chart, it's under angry. So if you're not familiar with my familial narrative, for you, it might come across as going, they're aggressive. Why are you angry, right? So if you come to me and you say something like, why are you so angry talking to your family? I would look at you and go, what are you talking about? I'm not angry. This is the way that we talk. But you could say, so when I listen, it sounds like it's aggressive, and go, no, it's not aggressive, right? Because aggressive is a pinpointing word. It clearly defines what it is that you hear and feel when you watch me talk with my Spanish family, right? And then I can go and go, no, babe, no, it's not aggressive. It's just that Spanish people are loud and they're super expressive and, it's emotional, but there's nothing aggressive about it. It's just the way that we are. And then that helps you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because you're not, by saying angry, that can bring up all kind of reactive behavior with the other person. But by being more clear and concise and saying something like, it sounds very aggressive, then it's more like it's a question. And I feel a little insecure. And what is it exactly that you're experiencing? And that makes both parties be able to focus in and go, oh, it's this that you're feeling that you think it's aggressive. Well, let's open this up so that we can identify, oh, of course, because you're from Omaha and your family is much more quiet and you communicate in a different way than I do. So everything that you do when it comes to your emotions and understanding how to clearly and concisely express yourself emotionally helps build your self-confidence, because then you start to understand that it's nothing personal. It's just a question. And how can I respond in a way that gives this person the information that they need? And it's also a clarifier for you, because when you're feeling a certain kind of way and you feel like someone is saying something to you that perhaps you're misunderstanding because their word usage of angry and your word usage of angry, your definition of angry rather, and my definition of angry are completely different based on our own personal life experiences. So by being able to clearly and concisely use a word, it allows you to be able to pinpoint and be able to address that situation without it becoming a reactive bomb with the person. And that helps you feel more safe and secure, not only with yourself, but also with whomever you're speaking. And it creates a safe environment in order for both parties to open up and be able to connect in a different way. So, to recap our in session, emotions, emotions, emotions. Our emotions are intense feelings. The basic emotions that each and every one of us know are mad, sad, and glad. But now you recognize that there are 197 other words to help us express our emotions. And you can go to Google and print out an emotions chart or put it up on your laptop and just study it, because it's amazing how empowering it is when you're in a business meeting, or you're speaking with your children, or you're speaking with your partner, or you're speaking with a complete and total stranger, and you can efficiently express clearly and concisely how you feel and be able to respond in a situation instead of coming in hot, like I like to call it in my practice, and being reactive to a situation because you're feeling insecure about the words that are being used. So take a time throughout the week, take 10 or 15 minutes and just pick it up and look it up. And if you don't know what the word means, like for example, if you have an idea of what humiliated means, but you're not really sure what humiliated means, that's right. I go old school, so I have a dictionary. But you know what? You can grab on your phone and go Google, define humiliated, or Google, define disapproving, or Google, define revolted, or nauseated, or detestable, or maybe things like sensitive, courageous, respected, cheeky. Isn't cheeky a fun word? Hey, Google, define cheeky. And that also helps you be more clear and more expressive and be more present and feel safe within yourself, because you have a grasp of how to express yourself more clearly and concisely, which of course builds up your self-confidence and in turn helps build the value, the self-worth that you have in yourself. So as you go out into your new day, armed with new information about what are emotions, that there are actually 200 ways to express yourself, and the way that you learn how to improve the way that you communicate more efficiently and more effectively is just by looking them up and using them in your everyday dialogue. I trust that this fun little snippet of emotions, emotions, emotions helps you go out in the world and be present and represent yourself to the best of your abilities. May only good lie before you. Every Thursday, I drop another one. I'll see you next week with some fun information. And hey guys, if there's a topic that you want to talk about relating to relationships or life in general, drop a couple of messages and words downstairs and I can create series, or I can actually use you and your example and solve it here so that all of us can learn. Because one of my favorite expressions is by Maya Angelou, and it states, then when you know better, you do better.